Hello, and welcome to the third section of this course, Achieving Async Behavior Using Promises and Coroutines. In the first video, we're going to talk about methods in Promise APIs. Officially, promise is described in the following way. The promise is an object represented by eventual completion or failure of an asynchronous operation and its resulting value. Actually, a promise is kind of a proxy for a value that is not known when the promise is created. It allows you to associate handlers with an asynchronous actions for eventual promise success or failures. This lets async methods to return values like synchronous methods. Instead of immediately returning a final value, the async methods return to supply the value at some point in the future. Let's see an example to understand what I just told before. Suppose you buy an airplane ticket that indicates that you have a flight tomorrow. This is your promise object. Tomorrow, when you come to the airport, you can face two situations. One of them is a flight is on time and you get into the plane and fly to your destination. This is the fulfillment of the promise. Another situation is a flight can be cancelled or delayed for some reason, like technical issues or bad weather and so on. This is a rejection of original promise. So, at the moment of buying a ticket, you're not 100% sure if the promised flight is going to happen. Promise can have one of the following states: pending, meaning initial state of the object, fulfilled, meaning that operations complete successfully, or rejected, meaning that operation have failed. A pending promise can either be fulfilled or rejected, no other options. The associated handlers to these events can be implemented by using then or catch methods of the promise. The promise object has several useful methods associated with it. A promise all returns a promise that's either fulfilled when all of the promises in the iterable argument have fulfilled or rejects as soon as one of the promises is rejected. Promise.raise returns a promise that fulfills or rejects as soon as one of the promises in the iterable fulfills or rejects, with the value or reason from that promise. Promise.reject returns a promise object that is rejected with the given reason. Promise.resolve returns a promise object that is resolved with the given value. A promise object is created using the new keyword and its constructor. The constructor takes as its argument a function called the executor function. This function should take two functions as parameters. The first of these functions, or resolve, is called when the asynchronous task completes successfully and returns the results of the task as a value. The second, or reject, is called when the task fails and returns the reason for failure, which is typically an error object. Here is an example of a new promise creation where we pass a set of functions into its constructor. Inside it, depends on promise result, we will be able either to resolve or reject a promise. Let's take a look at an example now. Let's create a new promise object now, and inside it simulate some asynchronous delay like can happen when you're calling some API by using setTimeout function. Okay, so I'm just leaving some comments for clarity of the functions that we are writing. And now let's implement a call to that promise where we will provide a then handler to our promise and print the results back. Okay, let's run it and see the results. As you can see, everything was executed successfully.